Following on from my Half-Life 2 challenge run of not firing a single bullet, I decided to run the same challenge in Half-Life 2 Episode 2. The original challenge run is from Episode 1 and that requires you to fire only a single bullet. The rules are, do not fire the pistol, revolver, SMG, shotgun, pulse rifle and the crossbow. You can fire the crowbar, 0-point energy field manipulator, grenades, SMG grenades, rockets and combine energy balls. We start off on the train that we used to escape from City 17. After clambering our way to the front of the train, Alex picks up the gravity gun, removes the train door and hands me the gravity gun. We stare at what remains of the citadel and a portal storm shakes the land, knocking the bridge down in an amazing amount of detail, especially for 2007, and even now. Moving on, we go through a small mine area filled with zombies. After dealing with them with explosive barrels and circular saws, we get through the area and arrive at a communications outpost. We contact White Forest, but are cut off by the Combine. We move on down the road and get to an outpost. The gate's locked and we need to climb on top of the roof so that we can get into the building to open the gate. After opening the gate, we leave through the floor hatch. Suddenly, just as we're about to leave the crawl space, me and Alex are ambushed by a Combine hunter. The hunter inflicts a near-fatal injury on Alex and is left for dead. Just as an antlion comes to devour Alex, a Vorticon turns up and saves Alex and me. We jump into a lift and pull out the crowbar that's stuck inside the lift gears. After pulling out the crowbar, we fall down the shaft and end up in the mines. Unfortunately, the mines have been made the home of the antlion, as the mines have become overrun with antlions, acid antlions and grubs. For the most part, we just run past a ton of the antlions. After diving past the antlions, we end up at a small outpost. We meet up with Sheckley and Griggs. The scene that follows is one of my favourite in the game and the entire series. Unfortunately, this one really noticed the effect it has on me. I spent a lot of time using hopper mines and moving turrets around. Eventually the turrets break and hoppers run out. At this point I'm left to the mercy of my AI teammates and my gravity gun and crowbar combo. For the first time ever, my teammates have been more combat effective than I am. Eventually the Vorts arrive, the music kicks in, and I spend the time running around with my crowbar just picking off anybody that the Vorts didn't fully kill. After the antlions in the immediate area have been defeated, we're tasked with retrieving larval extract to help heal Alex. We have to go deeper into the mines and through even more antlion tunnels. Eventually we reach a leap that we have to take to reach a ventilation shaft. After destroying the fan, we meet our new best friend, Bonesy. He'll be accompanying us for the remainder of our journey. Halfway through the journey, I meet Bonesy's half-brother. We start to be chased by an antlion guardian. Unfortunately, I can't run whilst I'm carrying Bonesy, so I have no choice but to shoot him into the hole and dive in after him without taking damage. I reunite with Bonesy, and look how happy he is. We get the larval extract. Unfortunately, there's an invisible wall that stops me from taking Bonesy with me. Bonesy has to spend the rest of his existence at the bottom of a shaft. After the ride up the shaft, we join together and hold hands to revive Alex. We get a cutscene where the GM asks us to get Alex to White Forest so that Alex can relay a message to Eli. We head to the top of the mines and we have to fight off the two antlion guardians. Luckily there are so many explosive barrels and propane tanks lying around to throw at. After 3 or 4 barrels each they die. We move on from that and we head to the Resistance outpost. Unfortunately the Combine have already overrun the outpost. Fortunately, the headcrabs have had their way with both of them. Luckily we can see the vehicle that we're looking for from the outpost across the road. We head through a complex industrial factory area that is completely covered in zombies and industrial sewage / toxic waste. This was largely just running and jumping past zombies and jumping on props to avoid the waste. We enter a warehouse full of zombies. Luckily Alex is providing sniper support and the warehouse is full of saw blades that I can use. Eventually we get up to the bridge where the car is waiting for us. Unfortunately, as soon as we get into the vehicle, another portal storm appears and partially destroys the bridge, turning it into a larger scale seesaw puzzle from Half-Life 2. Once we've redistributed weight across the bridge, we're able to jump the car back across to the other side, where the outpost is. After a long drive, we head to a communications outpost. After a quick puzzle where we have to plug in some power cables to power up the communications turbo, we're then ambushed by a group of hunters, the enemy that attacked Alex earlier. Now the usual weakness of the hunter is a combined energy ball. Unfortunately at this point we don't have any of those, so we have to make do. Luckily the ammo that the hunters fire can get stuck in props and you can launch them back at them. After the ambush, we return to the communications terminal, contact White Forest, and then get back into the vehicle. Later on, we start to get a headache as we get in range of an advisor. Investigating the barn, we find an advisor on life support. We pull the plug, or the energy ball in this case, and then we're attacked by the Combine advisor. Just as we're about to be trepanated, we're saved by an explosion, and the advisor flies away. We're ambushed again by the Combine as they blow their way in. I know that I don't have enough health and combat options to deal with the current ambush, so I make my way to my vehicle and just decide to get out of there as fast as possible. A hunter just comes out of nowhere and we hit it pretty hard with our car. Once we've straightened up and Alex has gotten into the car, we drive through the train yard, avoiding fire and bombs from the hunter chopper. We break through a wooden barricade and that causes our engine to die as we come to a stop. We enter into the area outside the rebel garage, where we have to throw the bombs back at the hunter chopper. After firing 3 bombs back at the helicopter, it gets destroyed and then it comes crashing down on me. We enter the repair shop and we're tasked with taking out the auto sentry turret. We enter into the scrapyard and we have to stay crouched behind all these destroyed, ruined and wrecked cars. Eventually we crawl our way to the auto sentry turret building. After throwing a few grenades into the room to deal with the majority of the Combine inside, we enter the building and finish off the rest with the Crowbar. We open up the sentry turret port, throw a grenade in and blow out all the circuitry. We make our way back to the car, ignoring all of the Combine and zombies that I didn't deal with. After following the road, we come across a nice little mountainside inn that would probably be something great back in the day. Just as we're about to leave the inn, a Combine force field activates, trapping us inside. We abandon the car and rush inside White Forest Inn. At this point I knew there was no way that I was going to be able to survive the ambush with just my crowbar and gravity gun, so I decided to just spend the entire time in the cellar. Now luckily this is a timed fight and doesn't require you to kill a set number of people. So all that we needed to do was hang out in the cellar and wait for the time to pass, killing the occasional Combine soldier that managed to make it inside. To pass the time whilst we wait, I decided to paint the wall of the cellar. Eventually the Combine send in the hunters. We batter the last few soldiers and enter into the Combine outpost that's powering the force field and stopping us from leaving. After climbing into the power station, we disconnect power and make our way back to the car. We get to the outer gate of White Forest. It's blocked by a gate and a fallen Combine dropship. After an equally short and cool cutscene between Doug and a Strider, we race Doug up to the front gate of the White Forest base.
luck next time, Slowpoke.
We enter the base where we meet up with Eli, Kleiner and Dr. Magnusson. After a brief discussion, an alarm goes off and we're sent to the bottom of the launch tube to help deal with the parade of constant interruptions. It turns out that the alarm wasn't another false alarm due to birds nesting on the tracks. It's a full-on combine breach due to somebody leaving one of the missile launch silo doors open. Eventually we climb up to the top of the launch tube and try to enter the control room. The door is ajar and I throw a grenade through the crack in the door. Unfortunately they have quick hands and were able to throw it back before I could deal with it. I'm also a little ashamed to admit I reloaded the save to try to do it better for the video, and the same outcome happened, so you get to watch me fail at it twice. We close the breach and rejoin Alex, Eli and Kleiner for a long cutscene talking about the Aurora Borealis. Whilst this is happening, I decide to stack up every prop on the sofa. Eventually Dr. Magnusson interrupts tea time and tells us to come with him to take a quick tutorial on how to use the Magnusson device. A sticky bomb that requires you to pick it up with the gravity gun, throw it at a strider and then blow it up with a bullet. Except the only way I could possibly blow it up is with a rocket.
Magnificent device, isn't it? I'll be right over here when you are ready to head up. Had enough? Your car is fueled and ready to go. Now, every building in the valley has its own dispenser port, so you'll have ample supply of explosives. Now, I must get back to my rocket, Freeman. I'm relying on you not to squander my trust. Or my Magnusson's. Oh, and Freeman, if you pull this off, I might just forgive you for that debacle at Black Mesa. You know the one I mean, involving a certain microwave casserole.
Taken a few liberties with your car. Check it out. I added a rack for Magnusson devices back here. I tweaked your onboard radar so the combines show up red on the dashboard unit now. Plus, it'll send a homing signal to your HEV suit in case you get separated from your car. No need to thank me. Now check this map. We're right here at the south end of the valley. Rest of the gang's up north by the old sawmill, here. Head on up there, and they'll fill you in on the battle plan. I'll be staying here to watch the field and send status updates. Good luck out there.
Once we've learnt how to use the Magnusson device, we're given our car back and thrown into the final boss arena of the game. This one area is an area I'd feared before even starting the game whilst doing this challenge run, because at the time I'm not even sure if it could possibly be done. We race up to the sawmill to meet up with the first line of defence. What follows is a series of ridiculous amounts of luck, patience and a tiny bit of skill, but mostly luck. I'll spend the next 20 minutes attacking hunters with energy balls, RPGs, logs and my own car, and attacking striders with RPGs, propane tanks, grenades and logs. After a rather tense showdown where I spent most of my time on low health, low ammo and low morale, we are finally able to take down every single strider. Once that is over, we return to base, launch a rocket, watch the Combine's portal collapse, and make our way to the helicopter, where we get ambushed and are left on a fade out. Thus ending the run, Can You Beat Half-Life 2 Episode 2 without firing a single bullet. Thanks for watching. Maybe you'd like to click on one of these videos for more. Alternatively, you could subscribe and check out my selection of guides, comical videos and co-op playthroughs. I recommend the Pokemon Crystal playthrough. It's very good if I do say so myself. Alternatively, you can give my brain a hit of dopamine by clicking the like button or leaving a comment. I could really use more dopamine.